Hi, everyone, and welcome to a new episode of the Rectified Podcast. Today, and for the first time ever, I have two guests, Jessica Bosman and Bryn Davis Williams, and they're both the founders of a new brand called Doubl. Jessica and Bryn, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks, Andy.
So you can answer like however you want because you're together. You decided to go into an industry with not much innovation. Like the last thing maybe we heard of is the push-up bra, like Wonder Bra and, Victoria's Secret and all of these things, but there isn't much that's being done in this industry. So what made you think about going there and creating such an innovative product?
Yeah, that's exactly why we chose that industry, was that there hadn't been a lot of innovation. We had the idea originally in 2015, and we've been inspired by companies who are leveraging technology to change business models for industries that haven't changed in a long time. So think Uber and the way that they use technology to change the way that people get from A to B, as opposed to just making taxis more efficient. And so that's kind of where we started, was looking at how to make a real difference using technology. And the bra industry was what we chose as women who experience
Yeah.
that.
So tell us a little bit more about the product.
Yeah, of course. So Doubl is the first made-to-measure bra offered completely online. So we use 3D image technology to capture body measurements, and you can do this completely alone at your home, iPhone, 5 minutes. We do a scan, it's completely private. You wear tight-fitted black clothing, and the technology, which is really interesting, has just gotten to a place where it's almost accurate. So it's a really interesting time in the apparel industry where we have the ability to actually do this. So take away that annoying like online purchasing return process while being out of that. And then also it takes away that stigma of being associated with numbers, letters, so you do scan, and then we use a proprietary algorithm to alter a pattern, and then that gets set in stone in Canada, and that will arrive to your door in 3 weeks.
So let me get this straight. I download an app, I scan myself, and it's easy to scan, right?
Yeah.
And then in like 3 weeks, I get a bra that's like only made for me.
Exactly.
That's it. That's it. Okay.
Yep. And the bra is wireless, and it has no like foam, because those are elements that have been told to us as extremely comfortable, and also the foam is typically like pre-stamped, so it can't size to you. So those are some elements we've removed. However, it still fits like a t-shirt bra. It offers that safe support rather than a bralette that's sort of just for comfort. Yeah, and it's sized to you. So
yeah. So any woman in any size can find what she needs with Doubl mainly. All right. So what made you like you mentioned that you thought about, there's no innovation in this industry and all of that, but how did you come up with like the technology? Like you're not tech people, right? Like you're just business people. How did you like find the technology? Like how did you go through the whole process? Tell us a little bit about it. Like how can someone, just to inspire people who want to, mix business and tech together?
Yeah, I think there's two main things. One is noting that in technology, it's always a work in progress, right? So the tech that you start with is usually not the tech that you have 5 years down the road. So Jess and I are always keeping up on industry trends, understanding what new software is out there, what can make our business run more efficiently and better for customers. So that's the first piece, is to never think that once you have it, right? You always be iterating. And then the second piece is, in business, especially when you're starting a business, it's good to think about the build, buy, and partner model. So what can you build yourself? What should you buy? And what should you partner on? So for Jess and I, being non-technical people, we are building a brand, right? That's where our experience is. But we decided to buy a lot of the software systems, because for us to build that from scratch when it already exists didn't make sense.
Yeah.
Bought the scanning measurement technology. It's a license that we have. So the app wasn't developed by us. And the pattern making software that converts measurements into the pattern pieces also wasn't developed by us. That's something that we licensed. But the connectivity between them, so translating the back-end measurement into the pattern pieces, is something that we built, because that's basically our secret sauce.
Mm.
For us, that was important. And then we partner with a factory, right? Instead of building our own factory, we partnered with a factory because then you get the expertise from a manufacturing perspective. So
Yeah.
that's what I'd say to new businesses is to think about it in terms of those three things.
Mm-hmm. It's very interesting because someone else would say, oh my God, the technology exists. Like they're going to copy us or something. But you put your secret sauce, as you mentioned, to link all of this together and to actually create the brand that you have. So your products are made in Canada, right? So it's 100% Canadian. Um, I'm curious. I always ask this question to many people on this podcast. Who bought from you first? Who's not like your friend or your family or your aunt or something?
That's a good question.
We actually had somebody buy recently because there was a National Observer article that ran on us.
Mhm.
So she discovered us through that article. And it was an article that was highlighting youth in climate action. So because we, are trying to manufacture locally on demand with recycled materials in a no waste way, we are very much rooted in sustainability. So she found us
Yeah.
that, and ordered that way.
That's pretty interesting. Um, going from there, you talked about being featured in what was the name?
National Observer.
Yeah, National Observer. Um, so that's part of like a marketing PR strategy that you're following. What are you doing to spread the word about your brand? It's a new brand, you're building it, you're trying to, establish a name in the industry and all of that. What are you doing in terms of marketing make to actually have people find you?
Yeah, it's a great question. So being a new business, obviously we have a leaner marketing budget. So we
Yeah.
are utilizing as many that we can. So obviously targeting all of the social media platforms. We have a wonderful intern got through a grant. She's done an incredible job of leveraging all of the platforms, and we're becoming more comfortable showing our big black camera and bringing it's really helpful. We've done some photo shoots, and we also now are kind of going strongly PR strategy where we are reaching out to different print media and outlets because we do have a really interesting story. We're two women under the age of 30. We're using AI technology, completely overhauling our entire industry.
Mm.
Manufacturing is done typically abroad, and it's done, 4 seasons a year in 4 quarters. So it's a completely new approach, and we're integrating this like sizeless.
Yeah. So are you working a lot on your social media, or is it like what's your focus now? Is it social media? Is it PR? Like where are you putting all the efforts? Because at the beginning the resources are always limited.
Yeah, so luckily we have 3 team members, so that really helps. So Jess manages a lot of the like product, manufacturing, operations,
Mhm.
sourcing, everything product based. And then we have our intern who does all of our social media. So that's keeping on top of trends, doing
Yeah.
videos, outreach, those kinds of things. I've been working on doing outreach for PR and also making sure that our website is functioning smoothly. And then the other part of our go-to-market strategy is attending events, right? Because we have, the lucky aspect of really appealing to 50% of the population, right? We don't have a niche product. So what's great for us is that when we attend events, we either find, connectors or other founders or investors or customers. And so
Mm.
that's been really, I think, helpful way to spend our time is attending different events and getting out there and networking.
Yeah. It's interesting because a lot of people don't talk about real life, let's say, things that they're doing, but I still believe that there's true power in like connecting with people in real life rather than just focusing on social media and pushing it. There's a lot of noise out there. Everybody's trying to push products on social media. And then when you connect with people one on one in real life, they know who you are. There are more chances that they talk about you and then they refer you to other people. It just becomes a whole other thing. So I really like that. I find that very interesting. Let's move to how you started. Did you have like how you started and like the financial part of it? It's a new company, limited funds, etc. how did you do that? And are you like willing at some point? Let's start with how did you do that and then continue with the rest.
Yeah, so we have bootstrapped the company entirely. So Bryn and I both are each still today. So we initially started with putting some of our own money in. We've done a small friends and family round, and we do focus a lot of our energy also on applying to grants, whether they're government based or
Yeah.
individuals. So that's been that's completely
Mm.
how we finance the company up until now. And to go further into what you're about to ask, I imagine, is
Yes.
if we're open to investment, which we are definitely open to kind of angel investment, looking to partner with a strategic partner who has prior skills as an entrepreneur, likely in the product space, in the e-com space, who has kind of been there and done that and can help fill the gaps where we don't have those expertise just yet. However, we would definitely like to grow as possible
Yeah.
and then get to that point of that pivotal point kind of where you're about to scale hugely and then do a really good
Yeah.
seed round where we can kind of skyrocket.
Yeah. Hopefully it's gonna be soon and we're gonna have you here again and we're gonna talk about the next step in your business. Are you thinking about doing something like a Kickstarter, or like a crowdfunding campaign at all?
Yeah, so we're planning to launch in a few months. And when we
Okay.
do launch, we'll be launching with a Kickstarter like model in terms
Mm,
of different tiers and also like fulfilling once you've reached a goal. Um, but we're going to be doing that natively on our platform.
okay.
So because we want to make sure that we have all the data and also that we are able to have a really clear consumer journey, we're going to be hosting the crowdfunding campaign on our own website. So there's a lot of great Shopify apps that allow you to do that and basically set up pages with crowdfunding goals. And so that's what we're planning to do.
Mm. That's really amazing. When you're doing that, email me. I'm going to share that also with our audience. There's a lot of women who listen to this podcast and follow us on social media, so it's going to be great. Um, I had another question in mind. I just forgot. I just forgot. You were talking about. Oh yeah. Speaking of Shopify, everybody like thinks it's like this easy thing, and then you open a Shopify account and then you put your products there and everybody's going to come and everybody will buy from you. But then it becomes a little more complicated than that. Some people don't have any idea about technology. Some people, they just don't know what they're doing and they subscribe to a Shopify site and they don't know what's going on. So you chose Shopify as like a platform. Um, was it easy for you to like just go and create these things and find all these apps and make the connections, or did you like get help from someone? How did you go about that?
Yeah, so a great hack for your listeners, if they're based in Canada, is this amazing program called Digital Main Street, and they will help you get started with your website for free. So it's a government backed
Yes.
program, and that's how we got started. So they kind of got us set up with the bone of the website and, set up the integrations for us where we needed them. And then we've taken that and it does feel very much for us like a plug and play. So I
Yeah.
can change something. We can do that. I do like that Shopify has all of these apps that allow you to customize your site without needing to do the coding yourself. So after using Digital Main Street, I did feel like it was quite an intuitive plug and play platform.
Mm. And it's also super easy to like connect it to your bank account and to the shipping stuff, all of these things that you actually need to integrate all together and make it work. What about email? Like, do you use a lot of email marketing? A lot of companies at the beginning, they tend to neglect that. And then at some point, when they have like a lot of people on their email list, simply because they bought and the list got filled, they start using that. Did you start doing any of that, or is it just still all work in progress?
Yeah, we've definitely been doing email marketing right from the get-go. Bryn has a lot of expertise in that realm, so
Mm,
we've very much been running that And we like to reach out to our customers, especially pre-launch. We like to give them a little bit of update about what we've been up to, what we're seeing, if there's any delays, how we can inform them and what
Yeah.
we also have a separate email marketing strategy for people who are potentially future investors. So we give them kind of a slightly different insight into the business. And we've gotten really great feedback. People really enjoy hearing about the business. And also it attracts different demographics, right? Like not everybody wants to hear about your business on Instagram, or not everyone is on TikTok. So it's great to be able to chop your information into different formats and express different things that are going on. Like we also like LinkedIn a lot for more PR type things that happen, more focused items, social proof, emails, and a mix of everything. So we've been finding that using all the channels at once.
It is we don't have a product that's purchased yet, right? So it's not like we're running promos and we're doing holiday emails, and so that's a bit different. But I think to your point, Sandy, about the importance of email marketing is that it's like Jess said, it's connected to all of your platforms, and your goal is to bring consumers along on the journey and on the story, right? And that you're folding them into the business so they feel like they're a part of it. And I think that's what you can do before you launch. And then hopefully it'll serve us well.
It's actually exactly like Jess and you're saying, because there are different people consume content in different ways. And when you're doing email and you're doing social, and even with every single social media platform, you have different types of people who are on different platforms. Not everybody is like me and they're everywhere. But you know what I mean? So it's interesting to tell the same story in different ways to people in different formats. And I really like what you're doing in terms of email, because you're keeping that connection alive, even though the product is not really out there for people to buy and all of that. So that's pretty cool. Is there anything else that you would like to tell us that people should, I don't know, wait for or know more about you?
I think one thing is, as consumers, we often forget the amount of sway that we have with our wallet and how we spend our money. And that if we want to see industries change, we need to, either build the businesses that support the innovation or support the businesses that. So I think there's so many great, new businesses out there that are making real change, and it makes me excited. And I think, like Jess and I, see the future of retail as being a sizeless place, because there's so much stigma attached to sizing, and there's, not a sustainable method right now for buying online and doing return. It's so harmful for the environment. I think there's a lot of great innovation happening in e-commerce, especially in the apparel space. We're so lucky to be part of it. And I think it's just important that consumers keep demanding for more, right? Like bras, for example, that don't fit for so long. And we just, as consumers, don't need.
Yeah, I feel the change. I see it happening in this world, especially with all the information about, the fashion or apparel world, and how, they're polluting, and especially if it's done overseas and all of those things. So there's a lot of people who are more and more conscious about these things, but also there's a lot of greenwashing. So that's a whole other story. But yeah, I do believe that people can create change, just like you're saying, with their own money. So we're towards the end of this episode, and I usually like to ask a series of 3 questions to our guests. Both of you can answer the same question, because this is a different episode and we have 2 people here. So number 1, how would your friends describe what you do for a living?
I think they would say that we are revolutionizing the bra industry, and that with bra company. We have really, really wonderful, supportive friends.
Yeah, that's really amazing. Same for you, Bryn?
Yeah, I would say that we're making their favorite bra.
Okay, that's really cool. What is one thing that there are already people who have the product from the first round, right? What is one thing that the product did for your client that you didn't expect?
I think it's more versatile than we expected. Like Jess's mom was one of our early testers, and she said she wore it during Pilates, wore it all day. She, was always on the go, and that it was able to feel both comfortable and supportive. So we didn't, it's not a sports bra, but it does appear that you can use it for light activity. And I think that's because it has that, the made to measure means that you use less stretchy materials. So it's really form fitted to you. But also without the wire and the padding, it's just a lot more comfortable and breathable. Our fabric is antibacterial, and has a nice breathability to it. Cool.
Maybe that can be your next product, sports bra.
Yeah.
Who knows? Since you have the base, you can improve a little bit and make it happen. Third question, is there a book that changed your life and that you would recommend it to our audience?
I really like Becoming Supernatural. I just read that by Joe Dispenza, and it's all about kind of your internal mindset shaping your external reality. So I personally think that's really interesting for entrepreneurship because you're constantly in a state of limbo, and it's a much higher risk, higher stress industry. So it becomes a lot of an internal battle often. So obviously having wonderful co-founders and friends is helpful. However, the more that you extremely graphic.
Yeah. I've been into Joe Dispenza stuff lately. I'm reading a lot about these things. So yeah, I understand. Bryn?
Yeah, I'm sure I'm forgetting a few, but the one that comes to mind is a book called Nudge. It was written by Richard Thaler and Cass Sunstein, who have a Nobel Prize in economics for their work with behavioral economics. So it talks about how in economics, humans have been left out of that equation a lot, right? And that we don't operate as people in, an A equals B model, and that there's so many other things that are a part of how we make decisions. And one of the biggest things in how we make decisions is not wanting any friction, right? Because we tend to make the easiest choice available to us. And so it's really important as an e-commerce founder of thinking through your website and how you make sure it's a frictionless experience. And they have some great examples in their book about how to help people make the choices that you want them to make by making things frictionless. So I think that's a really great one for so many different industries that just speak about behavioral economics, which I think is such an interesting.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing too. We're gonna link to both books in the description of the podcast. Bryn or Jess, tell us where they can find you. The product is currently not available, but you're launching very, very soon. So how can they be there, get the alert or know, that the launch is ready?
Yeah, so you can find us at our website, www.doubl, spelled Doubl, like the word .ca, and we both have an email subscribing list and also a restock alert. We'll be launching the bra in black and white, in addition to kind of and then we're at my Doubl on all the social platforms, etc. So you can find us there and subscribe, and we'll love to outfit you in your.
Amazing. I wish you the best of luck. Thank you for being a guest on my podcast. And to all the listeners, I'll be back next week with a new episode.